Hello everyone, welcome to Scratch Quest. Today is day one of learning C program, sorry, Java full course, and today we'll be like learning about OOP in Java. I think my title is wrong, but it doesn't really matter for now. Uh, yeah. So in this live stream, we'll be uh, completing this course of learning about Java. So to have a basic overview to build the basic foundations of Java course, I'll be watching Brocode as my source video. So a big thanks for Java Brocode for providing such amazing video for free. On top of that, it's a 12-hour video, and I will be watching his video with you to learn about Java. Today is not the first day. I tried to live stream yesterday, but my live stream was cut off like mid live stream, so I was streaming without streaming. So I have watched the video halfway through. As this is learning video, I'm not going to redo that. So we are in middle of learning this stuff. Uh, and so yeah, I will be skipping some of the part, but honestly, those were the basic parts. So yeah, and a very huge thank you, Kayan, for Brookwood for this video. I don't know if it's right to watch this video in live stream and learn with this stuff or not. I hope it is. If it is not, I will, as per rule, delete the live stream and be sure I don't do this again. Previously, I did this with C programming, and it was nothing wrong. I don't think this will get me a copyright or get me into any trouble because I'm not just live streaming his video. I'm live streaming watching his video while as well uh, doing this in my coding thing. I hope so. And if it is even not legally wrong but morally wrong, I will uh, not continue this. I will be make sure to delete this slideshow of course. That's my disclaimer because I don't want to be like be like nuisance and be wrong in that fact. So yeah, without any ado, let's start our live stream of learning Java course for free by Brocode. Let's start. So previously, I have watched some of the course. I know what's the basic of this course was like. Wow, what is Java program and other stuff. It was really easy up to now because of the fact that we have learned this stuff in C programming. Some of the stuff like if statement, based switch statement, with the stuff that was already done, but the way we did it was different. That's the some stuff. As we go on and code ourselves, we'll learn what those differences are. So I think we're in math class, I guess, because and let me see. These were honestly very simple one, which honestly were just uh, taking like taking user input output and doing having a formula like that is these thing where some of the stuff that we have already done in both C programming and Java. Obviously, I could not live stream this, so I'm skipping this. So these were some of the stuff. I have forgotten this, so let's watch this math formula with.
Pow, meaning power, you can raise a base to a given power. These can be values or variables. There's the absolute value method. Math.value. What's the absolute or variable? The power of 5 be a power of 3 would be
Power. So
8.
math power also as per I remember power means just power or something. Here the is 2 by 3 which means 2 power 3. Okay.
And again, I'm using a double. That's why we have the decimal portion. 2 to the power of 4 would be 16. Pow, meaning equals. AB, absolute value. What's the, that would be 5.
Absolute value would be 5. Yeah, absolute value
Positive 5.
means the value from 0. So if straight line, those graph where you have 0 in the middle and number goes as we go to the left. It is in the left we have the negative number, the right we have which number and the straight line. So as so the distance. So if let's say we are as it is -5, the absolute value would be what is the distance between the 0 and the point we have selected, and that would be the absolute value. So this is for math.
5.
AVS means for absolute value, power means for the
Basically,
power
think
value.
of it as a C method, if that helps. Positive if it's negative. Root, there's a square root. What is the square root of 9? I
Square root means that
did make a spelling mistake here. If you're accessing the use the round method. Again, we'll round a number to the nearest whole integer. So always round it's capital M, E-I-L. Again, I accidentally used lowercase m. It's capital M.
so as per he is doing, there is Java as for most of the program language have really is a really a case sensitive language, especially if we dive into its functions and stuff like object and stuff, where we need to know when to use capital letter, when not to use capital letter, what language to use, what function, what pre-made stuff is, and stuff like that. So yeah.
Let's round 3.14 up to the ceiling. So 3.1 can use the method. Math and down values. What is the max between these two values or variables? Value. So cover some math-related exercises if you would like additional practice. In this formula, C, the hypotenuse, B squared. Scanner goes, will B. We'll also declare double C. That two prompts. Enter double. Let's do this with side B. We can copy these two lines, paste them, enter the length. I just wanted. Then we have to follow the square root of a squared plus b squared. There is a square root method within the math class, but we have to raise side a to the power of 2 plus b to the power of 2. Here's how we can do that. So within the square root method, we're going to raise a to the power of 2 first. Math.pow, to raise a base to a given power, raise a to the power squared. See it. Then we have to follow this equation. Raise a to the power of 2 first, plus to the power of 2. C is the hypotenuse. C should be size. That's if we're up. And we'll create a scanner object.
These are the stuff that is easy if you know the formula and stuff. So the basic programming is basically learning the stuff. I mean to say like learning how to do certain stuff so you can do many other stuff. It's basically asking the user first thing you need to know, and these things, the first very main thing is learning how to make the basic build. So what to write in top, what to write in bottom, what to get the thing like math or math, what heading file you need to write, just like in C programming. If you know that, I guess that is the basic thing. Second of all is asking user what to asking user for the data, which is using the scanner. And third is learning the formulas, or not learning the formula, I would say like overall printing the result use and using the formula. Here, if you don't know the math formula, it doesn't really matter if you don't. It doesn't matter if you know the how to do programming or not. If you know the like math formulas, this can be done really easy if you know the basic stuff. Now we check on this is easy if
Scanner
you think of.
dot. Let's. We need pi. Here's the formula with I was pi. Or is it 1 meter squared 4 3?
I'm skipping this
Going to
stuff.
add a placeholder. Hey,
Governor is skipping most of the top.
3.14 to you within the math class. You just have to access it. There's also it's always available out of this top pi. There's a
Yeah, we
built-in.
don't have to put header file, it is pre-built, so yeah, it's not a big deal.
We haven't talked about the printf statement yet. Using printf, you can display a given amount of digits, but we do have centimeters at the end. We have term with the sphere. Create a scan.
And these are the basic stuff. Ask the user for the number, give the number, do the formula, and then you get the stuff. I'm really weak at math, so I'm skipping this for now. So yeah, not
Time
skipping it honestly.
the area.
Just
The
going to the main parts.
also like 7, 8.
I need to screenshot this shit. Uh, Let me do this for. So I'm taking this screenshot because, as you know, the square meter you see here, you cannot use this directly to get a formula, as you need to use method that to like make a formula to say 2 power 3. We cannot use this like here you can see the centimeter per square. We cannot do that. To do that, you need to use method pow. Just but to print or make it attractive, you could use this normlock, which is normlock dot normlock dot plus alt key plus 0178.
For a super speed, we're going to assign our divisor 3 to the power of
These I
3.
think I will skip most of this. A
Then
printf is.
then about with
Oh, by the way,
a
we have.
percent in a bit of experience. Printf is a method used to format output. We already do have a little bit of experience using printf in the last few
Hmm.
topics involving math. We'll get more in depth with the printf
There,
statement.
I think there is pretty different type of printf in Java. Previous to that, in C programming, there were just three type, I guess. Mainly one type for printing the normal output. For example, printf. That's what it in C programming. But in and you have fprintf and fprintf and others one other stuff, which is like very simple ones. But in Java, you have different kind of printing according to what you want to print. For example, uh, here printf is specifically the simple printf you use. You use system.out for printf, that works. Printf also works. There is stuff like print ELN, which I personally use a lot of the time. Printer or Java in Java most of the time, because in printf, println and printf is pretty similar, but in printf there is no gap. Printf when it's printing, it doesn't have any gap. So when you print something, for example paragraph, printf would have a gap. It just print whatever you have to type exactly like that. So for example, you have type hello, my name is this, and spacebar and you go to the line and you say no, that is not. Then at the output you will say hello, that is my name, no, that is not, in the same line. Println. But in printf, you will see whatever you have typed exactly as the screen. That is the thing. I think I know only that difference. So let's see what Brocode has to say in here.
This topic. Printf is an alternative to print and print line. Wherever we would like to insert a variable, we can add a placeholder of a percent sign, then add one of a few characters, following it to format the output. In this demonstration, let's create a few variables. Let's create a string of name. I'll assign some name. I'll pick SpongeBob because many people know who SpongeBob is. We'll need a character. Yes. And a double, 0.5. So we have some variables when we output a string literal. Print line, we're going to use a percent sign as a placeholder. String, you're going to add a type of the variable we're trying to insert. If you're trying to insert
Ah,
a string, you're going to use a lowercase s. So after this word of hello, we're adding a placeholder, then inserting a string at this location. So instead of adding plus the variable name, we're going to comma separate any variables we're inserting. So comma name. Here's the output.
okay, this is very similar to C programming where because C program while printing, for example, we need to print name. What we used to do is we couldn't really say name directly. We couldn't type those name directly. What we needed to do was we need to first of all, just like here, percentage yes, percentage for string, percentage c for char, percentage I for percentage d, I guess, percent d for integers, percent double d. I think the double, I don't know what's double where. For boolean, I guess something bool. When it was bool, we need it was something else. So we need to use these symbols or short form to print out the whatever the variables are, print out those variables. It's very similar to that. As per I know, in Java, what we can do is what we can pretty much take the number and print that. So just do is hello, then to join as this is a string, you need to add them. You could say hello plus name, and it would print. So yeah, I think there. Okay.
Hello. our variable name, which contains SpongeBob. If we need to insert a character, that would be lowercase c. So let's use system.out.printf. I don't know, let's say your name starts with a. We're going to insert a variable. We need a placeholder, that percent. The printf statement, we have one \n to insert a new line. I'll put c on the same line. That's better. To insert a new line. Format specifier, printf statement with a new line. That's better. Character, percent %d, d, a. Then we will insert new that are displayed. Then a new line character. Multiple variables within the same line. String being an integer, we need percent %d years old. We'll integer this time. SpongeBob is 30 years old. F for doubles times 1. Use printf, comma, because they're. And here are the prices. Oh, and we have to add a new line character too, because they're all in the same line. I forgot to do that. So \n, that's better. Does a double. This 50.4, we could do 3. Let's set the precision to be 0.2 that we can add numbers. Positive 100 of a comma. It's a comma grouping separator for any thousandths place. After the percent sign, add a comma. At any thousandths place, we have a comma grouping separator. Again, this is useful for displaying prices. By adding a single left parentheses, any negative numbers are enclosed in a set of parentheses. So let's revert these prices back. After the percent sign, add a left parenthesis. So we only have one negative price, negative 54.01. And then we have a space character. This will display a minus if negative, space if positive. We have 2 positive numbers in 1 negative one. So by using a space character, any positive numbers are preceded with a space. 54.01 is negative, so we do not have that space. It's good for aligning numbers.
Okay.
The last specifier we have to talk about is width. We're going to create some ID numbers. These will be integers. Int ID1 equals 1. Int ID2 equals 23. Int ID3 equals 456. And int ID4 equals 7890. Int 1 are weakening, and they align vertically, which is kind of nice. 0 before to be the maximum. So you have one variable that has 4 digits. We'll set it to be 4 to be the maximum. So we have pad these numbers with 0. Let's say 4. We have one variable that has 4 digits. We'll set it to be 4 to be the maximum. So 0, 4. And here we are. These ID numbers are all now 0 padded.
So okay, midway something like of revision here. So a few things we need to learn about those stuff. Okay, so in C programming, programming in general, we have things like okay, we have learned few things. We learned about methods. We learned about powders, what this formula does. We learned about floor, ceiling, uh, something more, ceiling, then more other stuff. And here we learn about just right now we learn about stuff like we learn about what is that? Oh, yeah, we learn about printing works. We learn about percentage of the format specifier. Then we went on to learn about like in printing our numbers. We can do special tricks like we can print only negative. We can print negative number with minus. Like we did that. So to print negative number with minus, we could use spacebar. print a negative one number with just make sure this is a negative number. You can put negative number in bracket using the left bracket. Then we have two like what's that? Forgot. There was one other thing. Yeah, we could use. No, 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 this is yeah, for comma grouping separators, which was more of like this was the interesting one. After like percentage, you use comma. It would after just thousand place, it will put you a comma just like in math, and you don't have to do it like yourself. If you add plus, it will give you a plus for the additions, not for the subtractor, but for additions. These were the basic stuff we learned. Then we went on to learn about this thing called padding, where in front of percentage d, we could write 0 and put how much padding you need to write. For example, there is number 1, there is number 2, there is number 3, 4, 5, there is number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Some have one digit, some have two digits, some have five digits, and what four digits. Now let's say I want the number to look the same, but its number is smaller. One number is smaller than another. To make sure the number looks exactly the same, we do is padding. What padding does is it just if the number is, let's say we have padded up to 4, the number is, let's say like have four two digits, it will add 0 digits in front of them, so it would be 0 0, and the other two digits, for example 2 2, so 0022 would be the answer. But let's say if digits have four number like 444, then it would have no padding, it would just show 4 4. So it just adds 0 in the in those number where it is small according to what number we put in the padding. So yeah, that's our like thing. Now let's go and what's again.
Fire we have to talk about is width. We're going to create some ID numbers. These will be integers. In 7 step,
Okay,
we for the Java's amount number, we can
padding.
write justify these variables. So let's replace 0 with just 4. Rather than having
Oh,
that
okay,
0 padding, we just
padding. You can either do this where there is no zero, but let's say you don't want to put zero, you just need to show what number there are, but in a really accurate manner. Make sure these number are these. We could use just
have some
percentage.
spaces, if you would prefer it that way. Or with the negative number, we can left justify these values. So let's set 4 to be instead negative 4. Now these values are left justified, and we still have those spaces
Mm.
afterwards. Except for the last variable, because it's already 4 digits. Alright everybody, so that is the printf statement. Afterward, got a video, put money in a bank account, or Trist, or Java. Let's get started. We need to create a scanner object, then with input,
Yeah, this is the simple one where you take
a
the
point.
percent.
We would like, we don't want
Yeah,
most calls use our scanner dot in. Here's
use just the formula and stuff like
then we
that.
will display the amount. System.out plus American dollar. Let's test this.
Pretty simple.
American dollar is the two option. Kind of like this. It is everybody. In this video, I'm going to explain nested if statements in Java. In
Right.
Java, it is possible to have if statements within other if statements. Kind of like this. After checking some condition, you could follow with another condition, if the first condition is true. You can add if statements, else if statements, and or else statements. It really depends on the program that you're trying to write. So what we're going to do in this demonstration is have two Boolean variables. A Boolean of is student. Let's say that we're selling movie tickets. If somebody's a student, they get a 10% discount on their movie ticket. We also have a senior discount. Boolean is senior.
If this necessarily if is basically okay, let's say if you are a student, you might be 18. So let's say you force us if you are 18 or not. That is the criteria. If you are 18, you can enter the club. But if you are not 18, you get out. Look, the if statement goes out if you are not 18. But let's say you are 18. But to enter the club, you still need the ID card. Let's say the club card. But if a person is 18, that doesn't mean you automatically enter the person. You have two criteria. First, he must be 18. Second, he must have the card. Let's say he passed the first criteria of being 18. Now comes to the second criteria, where we check if he has the card or not. If he passes the second criteria, then yes, he can enter the club. These are the two things. These is if or nested if. Sometimes a senior can be a student, it has here, but a student cannot be a senior. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Citizen can be not like this. A student can be a citizen, but not all citizen can be. Right? I will give you a real good example that is not making. Let's say you are in a college where all are adult. All the student, all the Nepalese, all the Indians, all Americans can be a portion, but they all cannot be. Okay, that doesn't work at you. Example are really bad. But I want to mean to say, for her now, you have two criteria. Enter one kit, you need to enter another kit. Sometimes person can be over 18 but cannot have a membership card of the club. Uh, so how can you make sure he is both 18 and does have a membership card? Using this if statement here right here, a double verifications.
If somebody is 65 or older, they get a 20% senior discount of diamond equal proof of price is not, then we'll output of a ticket the amount of 10. Now, if we original with senior, they get a student discount and a senior. The if a senior discount 0. Say is senior is true for now. Okay, else if they're not a student but they are a senior, we'll check that with a nested if statement within the that senior discount because they're not also a student. Price times equals 0.8. You could add else price times equals 1. That's if somebody is not a student and not a senior.
Hmm.
But you don't necessarily need this else statement. All right, let's perform.
A senior, so let's say if is he a student? If he is a student, we go into the if he's a student and a senior, you give discounts of 20% and you give student discount of 10%. Which you pass. Let's say if he's not a student, if he's a student but not a senior, then you still get a student discount of 10%. But let's say if you are not a student, as a student, nor if you don't even pass the if student criteria, do you go to the else statement? If you're a senior but not a, for example, not a how to say not a if you are a senior but not a student, you still get a discount of 10%, so 20%. But if you are neither of these, then
A test run and not a senior. But you don't necessarily need this else statement.
okay. So another thing, So inside of else we have put if. So there is two things. So things can happen. For example, let's say you are in like cafeteria. In the cafeteria, you get 20% discounts as in you have if you're a student. As if you're a senior. And you can also get a 10% discount if you are a student. But if you are both a student and a senior citizenship, you get 30% discount or both discount of senior and student. But if you're neither of them, then you get not. So here's the condition. First of all, you must be a student. If you're a student, then you're welcome. Okay, if you're a student, then if you're a student, you automatically get 10% discount. But we need to still check if you're a citizen or not. If you're a citizen, congrats, you got another 10% discount. But let's say if you are a student, but if you are not, then if you are still a student, you get 10% discount. But let's say you are neither of them. If you're neither of them, if you, let's say if you are first criteria if you're student or not. If you're a student, yes, you get automatic 10% discount. But let's say if you are a student and a senior, you are both of them, you get 100% discount. If you are neither of them, you still can be a citizen, senior. You can get 100% discount. You're neither student, you're not a student, you but a senior, you still get a 20% discount. But let's say you are neither a senior nor a student, and then you get the discount. That's what's happening here inside the if statement. So yeah, let's do this then. Why not? What is happening here?
Price times equals 0.8. You could add else. That's if somebody is not a student and not a senior. But you don't necessarily need this else statement. Alright, let's perform a test run. Student discount. Get dish stay. Use create a variable you need int length. We have one of a few methods. If you need the length, you can use the length method. And then let's print it. Print the length. How many characters are in the string? 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This could be useful. Let's say somebody is setting a password and you have a maximum size of 12 characters. Well, you can check the length to see if it's under 12 characters. So that is the length method. There's char at. That will give you the character at a specified index. We'll be given a single character. We'll store that as a variable. Char letter equals take our string of name, use the char at method. Within the char at method, we'll list an index. 0 is the index of the first character, because computers like to start at 0. What is the character at index 0? Well, that letter is B.
Oh, sorry about that. I had a few things to do. So yeah, we are in here.
At a specified index. We'll be given a single character. We'll store that as a variable. Char letter equals take our string of name, use
Mhm.
the char at method. Within the char at method, we'll list an index. 0 is the index of the first character, because computers like to start at 0. What is the character? 2.
Okay.
That is the first index of this character, O. 0. There's also last index. The what is the last index? Take a string and make we're going to take our 4, 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can take a string and make all the characters uppercase. Use the empty method is
Stream, what does stream do?
equals name and use the trim method. Now while that white space is gone,
Okay.
name, now their name, feel free to change. That is to put in a print statement. Is not empty. That's false. But if this within a print statement. So my string is not empty. That's false. But if it was, that would. But I have to turn these lines into comments. That would return if your name is empty. But space true or equal. Word or and be well then those are a few useful string methods.
But I'm skipping this because I have already learned that both in C programming in the Java in previous slide. So I'm skipping this just to I'm just watching this video to refresh my memory, by the way.
You may be interested in as a beginner using Java. Works in Java. Substring is a method that's used to extract a portion of a string. Strings
I
have
think
a
I'm in
built-in
loops, I
method
guess.
of
I can
substring.
skip this
Within
stuff.
the substring method, you can list one of two indices. This method will create a new string based on the positioning of the indices, the start and the end. I can best demonstrate this with us creating an email slicer program. So what we'll do in this demonstration is create a string of email being one substring. We can create a new string from portions of the original string, 6 letters string, use the substring method, then list one of two possible indexes or indices. The first index will be 0. At what position would we like this substring to end? I would like to end right before this @ sign. So that would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The second index is exclusive. So we're creating a new string of username by using the substring. Mine is bro123, but depending on what you So again, let's need an ending index. A different length of an email. There's a greater or how we wrote this number of characters. So let's say I have a different email, 7, all the way till the end. You don't necessarily need an ending index. We could just say 7. That would work too. Gmail.com. There's one issue with how we wrote this program. What if somebody has a different length of an email? There's a greater or lesser number of characters. So let's say I have a different email. This program doesn't work as intended.
Yes.
It's not flexible. So my domain is 1@gmail.com. I could modify the indices of the substring method. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
That would be
Then the
boring,
domain
right?
would be 9, because I want everything after the @ sign.
How do we do that?
And then my username, let's check that. So this would be my username, brocode1. To make this program more flexible, instead of manually entering the indices, we can determine what this number should be with another string method. We're going to use the index of method in place of a number. We're going to find the @ character. Let's replace our second index with email, our string, dot, use the index of method. Then we will find the index of our @ character. We're going to replace this number with email.index of and find the @ sign. So now let's try printing our username. So here's my username. Then let's
That's
print the domain.
interesting because we just learned that index of something means
currently we have that @ sign. The index of method returns a number, which we're using as the index. It's returning the index of this @ sign. I'm going to increase it by 1, so we get everything after the @ sign is dot scanner equals new scanner. And when we just how Instead of manually assigning our email, we're going to use our scanner email. Here's my username
Hmm.
and the domain to see if our email is valid. We'll use some of the string methods we learned about in the last video. Character. Let's cut it. If it is, then we'll perform all this code. So let's cut it, then stick it within the if statement. Else we will do something else. Contain. Emails must contain is and how to create an email. The substring method is used to extract a portion of a string.
The soft string is used for. Hmm. Right. Right.
You can list program. All right, everybody.
Right now I get it.
So that is using email, then created two new substrings, one of username and the other of domain. And well, everybody, then created two new substrings, one of version program to convert a weight from pounds to get started as declare user input, convert option, print the rough need, scan to see port, original weight, one options, put pounds, we get one. We can delete this print line statement, but only to a equals grams. Well, to the weight, our current weight that is, times 0.453592. Then we'll output the new weight. Then we'll add our new weight. Okay, let's perform
What?
equal to the weight, our current weight that is, times 0.453592. Then we'll output the new weight. Okay, let's perform a test run. We'll type in 150 pounds converted to kilograms. 68.0388. If you would like to limit the amount of digits that display after the decimal, you can use a printf statement. Since we're displaying a double, we'll use after this variable at this location and convert pounds to the new weight in kilograms. And really, we can just copy this if statement. Else if enter the new weight in pounds, like usual, I'm for grams.
Honestly, I have watched most of this stuff. It feels really interesting because I have forgotten most of the things. Yes, I guess 3 days ago, which I have watched this stuff. I've done this programming as well, but yeah, oh my.
Else we will know this if we can write this, and that is by using true.
This is switch.
If
I
it
think we need
is,
to
let's return
turn
a
it.
string of pass, colon, think of it like otherwise, will return fail. And then I will print pass or fail to display it. So 55, that means we fail. But if it were 75, that means we
Okay,
pass.
I didn't know that. Actually, I have forgotten. So if you have any scores, if you,
By using the ternary operator, it's an alternative to writing an if-else statement, and it can be simpler in many cases. Here's a few other examples. Let's create a variable of number. Set it equal to some number. Even or odd by using 3 divide by 2 evenly. If it does, that would equal 0. 3 doesn't divide by 2 evenly, there's a remainder of 1, and that does not equal 0. Is this number divisible by 2? We'll use the
if it
ternary
is
or
even, pretty simple.
practice project to get us more familiar. So at the top
If
of
a
your
company is asking the user for the input, they would really convert it. Yeah, it's going to be simple, I guess.
this will
I
be
would
a
say I'm lacking in the part of knowing many of the functions stuff. I'm skipping some of those like string functions like uppercase, the lowercase, this stuff like does it contain some of the index of because it is important. Yes, I know it, but I would say most of the thing I already forgot when I'm like end of things. What I want to do is I'm going to have a blurry vision of the what they are. what will do, I will code. I will go to the end of the program, then I will code myself. I will learn this stuff while I go through it. I don't want to like be focused on this stuff because up to now the very core of the concept is ask the user for the input, take the input, do the stuff that we need to do, and give the output, which is basic all the stuff, but a very simple one. That's it. That's a single program line. As per I know, as per I have read, this isn't even the fraction of the hardest thing we have learned up to now. Obviously, I will come back here. I will learn about all this stuff. Like I know not I will learn the stuff of the same function, this in function, the like I know I know what to do. Still, I'm not really like don't know how to do this stuff. So that yeah, after I actually learn those stuff, have not like master them, but be able to make a function myself, and I will come back, learn this stuff, apply them together so that I don't mismatch them.
The double data type. Double method to get the temperature. We will variable of height. We'll need another prompt. I'll use print instead of print line. We will ask the user convert method to get the to output our temp, convert it to Celsius. I'll type lowercase c.
Eh? Scanner dot next, so we don't need to use line here.
What if somebody types in a lowercase c or f? So let's say the temperature is 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and we would like to convert it to Celsius. I'll type lowercase c rather than uppercase c. Our unit is currently a lowercase c. We can convert it to be uppercase.
To uppercase.
Following the next method of our scanner, where we assign our unit, we're going to do something called method chaining. We'll add another dot, then use the to uppercase method of strings. Let's try that again and see if it works. Or we'll take C and make it uppercase. Ternary operator code or C. Take and under. We're asking subtract 32. Then multiply 5 divided by 9. Now we'll show something the new sold degrees conversion program that you can write using the ternary operator in Java. Switches in Java. In Java, there's switches and the week.
Yes.
Let's
I know this stuff what to do.
It's similar to
So basically, it's like if else, but rather than writing condition each time, you could just assign it a value or assign it something. For example, in here you have Monday. What you do is take switch until the conditions match. So we have different cases, and each case is less than writing if this, mean that, if this thing, we just use case.
statement already. It will be a string of
Yes,
is
Monday.
if do this code.
Okay,
We'll
I
do this
give
with the other days too. Nobody likes Mondays. Think of it as meaning do arrow. A string of Monday. We'll do something. We'll use an arrow. An arrow something.
we
Do
I'm
this
so
code.
listening
Do
to
this code. Weekend. You may have these warnings. It's basically saying that these sections of code are unreachable. We're manually setting a variable. These sections of code are not going to execute. So I would just ignore that for now. If it were Friday, then and then I'm just going to automatically import this class at the top of my Java file. Import java.util.scanner. We'll create a prompt for a user to assign a string. Let's try that. Taco day is not a day. We could actually improve the switch even further. IntelliJ is saying we have a duplicate branch in our switch. We have 2 or more cases that are doing the same thing. We are outputting it is a weekday. Week Friday, Monday, comma, Sunday. Then we'll again. In case there are no matches. Is not placement to using many else if switches in Java. Is a scanner. Scanner will to type to
By the way, I have also
that
done
can
this
error
this
more
multiplication table, which is I think what is
this
very
case
easy.
would be
We are using the switch case statement. So as you ask the user for what operator you want, what addition, subtract, what do you want to do. So we take the input operator, then you want to do this, let's do this. We keep this in the if statement of loop, which will later on, I guess, we put in while loop. We say while the condition is not exceed, then do this switch statement. Yes. Do you want to continue? Yes. That's
a
very
plus sign,
nice.
and these cases to be if you sign our
This
result
program would be really helpful after the while loop to understand the while loop very better.
after the
It will
switch
become
of
better.
0, which is 4 point times 3 is 27. 3 to the power of 3. We have 140. 20.
I need to remember this.
This degree Celsius
Oh my god, my Wi-Fi
smiley
is
face.
not
Because
running.
why not? Okay, and for fun, I'll add a smiley face. Because why not? 20 degrees Celsius. That can. We don't execute this code.
This while
The
loop.
loop. That's called an infinite loop. Computer might need some way to update your condition. Number of attempts
Break
plus our
nested
variable.
loops. I have no
Hello
idea.
again, friends. Today, they might not any kind of loop. Let's say equal to function line. And now the output looks something like this. To put each row, we seem to be repeating our code a lot. Out of that loop, I will is less than. What we do is take our code, including the for loop, but we have one problem. We're reusing this index of I. You can see variable loop is already defined in method main. If we have a loop inside of another loop, we can't use the same index. A common naming convention for a nested loop is to use an index of j rather than I, because j comes next in the alphabet after I. Instead of printing I, we're going to print j. Let's see how this works. And here's our matrix of data. We're printing our index of j through the nested line. We're going to that columns and going to our columns, whatever
Okay,
the
these
user
are the
types
stuff
in.
I've already done.
Return a number times itself. Number. Now, it's
I
time
have
to
not
test
done.
run. That to be static.
Okay, we
Much like
have
the
completed 4 hours. We're waiting 1 hours. Yes, I have skipped a lot of things. But I think it's because I've learned in previous lives. It's so boring to learn again. I've been doing the programming Intel JID, but well, I had to say it. Okay, your life is ending. He was that. I did the lie.
the main method that we work run in this. All right, let's do a test run. Name of the method font. Thing you should be aware of is that methods are unfamiliar with any variable stick one
Okay,
since we're the main method.
okay, we could learn down from there. Have methods, we have overload methods, banking problem, dice problems, base cage game, you start pressing, and we will start from here. Lovely, lovely.
They might not come up very
Okay, we'll take a little back and then start again. Yeah, yep. Okay, before you go, there were main things that we learned. I would say this would be the way robot teaches is really, really good. It teaches the unbothered stuff, which most people wouldn't even try to learn. A really interesting manner. So I would say, yeah, go on and learn his video. Few things. There are most of these things, like those things will not contribute and will say are the package. So somewhere in the coding, some of the stuff, strings and some stuff might or is not that important in terms of this whole transfer the what's advancing. But is it useless? Absolutely no. In your programming journey, you will use the later thing a lot. The reason I'm skipping this is because I have learned this stuff again, again, and again. And my main objective of this live is to learn what's thing that I have not learned. Yeah,
Very
so
often.
for now, summary is we learn how to take numbers, how to take the user input output, then give out. There are advanced stuff. We learn about while loop, if else statement, stretch statement, those are the advanced stuff. Then we learn all those stuff which helped us do programming more easier. We learn about the string cases like to uppercase, to lowercase, ceiling, floor, to floor and stuff like that. Then we learn about uh, other statement like, for example, ternary operators. Then we learn about stuff like what do you say, math statements. Then we learned about stuff like how to in the printing you get methods many stuff like you can print either using the cross way, you could use the representing or the format square ways. While using the format square, you could use different tricks. So you could use different tricks like uh, have padding with zero. I have no and present negative with minus and represent negative package. Those were some of the neat tricks. In we learn about the indexing. We learn how to print a sorted number, how we can divide the number. Then we learn about how certain index. We can ask the index to ask user for the email. We could also say what is the number length of the email is. We could see what which address from which we need to know about the index of and similar to that. We learned about substring. These stuff which is in the tier 3 category isn't the main thing problem. Even if you miss them, it doesn't really matter. But the world of programming where productivity really, really matters, those things are the things that matters later. They matter on increasing your productivity, saving your time, and most of the things. So yeah, if for now I have learned the basic of those stuff, I will learn about this thing called methods. From here, I have not learned. So from the methods, we'll go and learn. In this journey, I will learn about the stuff like methods and stuff like that. And of course, I will forget about this stuff, even if I learned them like really, really badly. Uh, I give it a day, I will forget later on. But I have learned the basic of those stuff. I know what they do. I will complete the course once and come back again in this timeline and do all the projects. That's my plan. So yeah, whatever it is, let's begin the method. We will not go far. Now we have done the basic stuff. We'll learn 30 minutes now and one.
But you should at least be aware of this. It's a pair of telephone in Java. What is going on?
Method, yeah, for me, method is a big one in the Java. Previously in C programming, it was loops. We completed the while then we had the loop called formations, which I was like, I completed some of them. Then we come to the bigger wall, which was pointer. We had pointer and stuff like that, which was the biggest wall, which I have not overcome yet. Uh, as far I know, method is same method. This thing called so carries. So as you can see, array list. So what files, zip files, music player, hacking game, dates and times. You know, that's very interesting. Let's go on. We have what is this? 12 minus 4, 8 hours remaining. Let's say we have today is Thursday. From Friday to another Friday, we'll complete this course.
Everybody,
Let's
in
go.
this video I'm going to discuss methods in Java. Think of a method as a block of reusable code that is executed when you call it. To call a method, you use a set of parentheses, kind of like it's a pair of telephones talking to each other. Why are methods useful? Well, with a method, you can write some code once and reuse it whenever you want. You just have to call it. Let me show you why a method is useful. So let's say we have a task.
Okay.
We have to sing a happy birthday song 3 times. So without using a method, we could do something like this. We'll create one verse of a happy birthday song. I'll just make something up. Let's say, happy birthday to
Okay.
with the two. Pay attention to these curly braces. Well,
Right.
how can we not
Don't limit
this
yourself.
method? This birthday method to work is call it by its name. Happy birthday, then add a set of parentheses. So we have one issue in Java. Java wants this method to be static, much like the main method that we work within. So in order for this program to work, we need to add this keyword of static. Normally you don't need this
Mhm.
keyword, but since we're calling this method of happy birthday from another method that's static, this method also needs to be static.
Okay.
Later on in the series, we'll discuss what static does. You'll likely have to include that for now. Alright, let's do a test run. So we are going to sing happy birthday once. So again, to call a method, type the name of the method, then a set of parentheses. The pair of parentheses kind of represent a pair of telephones. That's how I think of it
Do
at
we
least.
do we do it
So
inside it or
now we
outside?
should sing happy birthday. Now this code is reusable. We write it once and method again. Block of code. Happy birthday. One thing you should be aware of is that methods are unfamiliar with any variables declared within other methods. So let's say we have two variables, a string of name. If I was to use these variables within my happy birthday method,
It
well, the
wouldn't
happy
work.
to use a printf statement. Within our happy birthday song, let's convert this print statement to be a printf statement,
Yeah,
and we
that's it
will
for today.
insert.
I have to go for now, but yeah, it was fun. Tomorrow would be the real challenge of learning this stuff.